What do you think would happen if a psychiatrist learned that in his own family, someone that had treatment resistant autism and epilepsy found relief by eating a ketogenic diet? Well, psychiatrist Albert Dannen decided to launch a study to see if the keto diet possibly could help his clients who had treatment resistant mental health issues. I'm excited for this video because for the first time that I'm seeing, this topic is being explored. I've been saying for a long time that everything you eat impacts your body, medication and all. I'm really curious to see what this psychiatrist is going to find. One of the most frustrating things that we see is that people that have mental health issues suffer for years. And they're suffering not because they're not trying to get help, because the things that are offered don't bring relief. Most medications have minimal benefits with really severe side effects. And those side effects are so severe that the minimal benefits that people are getting, they don't care and they stop taking the medication. What we want is a solution where we can manage, and hopefully we can manage without medication, which is why learning about Dr. Albert Dannen's research made me so happy. Now, what was interesting to me about this article is that they talked about the fact that a keto diet has already been shown successful in treating epilepsy. And in this study, the scientists showed that epilepsy and bipolar disorder share many of the same underpinning neurological functioning. And they were able to show this because the same medication that stabilizes epilepsy also stabilizes mood. I love that these psychiatrists that are doing this research are asking, why do we separate these two things when they clearly impact each other? The doctors point out that both neurological and psychiatric disturbance lead to similar dysregulation in neural networks, neuroinflammation, excessive oxidative stress, impaired neuroplasticity, mitochondrial dysfunction, and disturbed cerebral glucose metabolism. All of that to say, if you have neurological problems or psychiatric problems, your brain is struggling in very similar ways. I want us to think about the fact that when we eat sugar, the thing that our body does to save us from the negatives of sugar is different for each person within reason. Some people gain weight, some people have inflammation, which was my story. Some people have heart issues. Doctors are starting to show us that a lot of these things come back to overeating sugar. And now we have a psychiatrist that's pointing to maybe this is the same thing happening here. So just to go through the study in a very, very short way, the link to the study is in the description below. It was apparently the first study that looks at the impact of metabolic approach on solving mental illness. There are 31 participants in the study. They were Dr. Dannen's own clients. They were approached and volunteered. Of the 31, 28 completed the study. All of them, so all 31 of them, had treatment-resistant mental health issues. There were 3 different groups that the people fell into: schizoaffective, major depressive disorder, and bipolar disorder. Their hospital stay was semi-controlled because they were able to go home on the weekends, but the clients were instructed what to eat when they were at home. And while they were in the hospital for the 5 days, they had very controlled meals. Now, we have to keep in mind that these clients were in an actual hospital. They still had access to other foods that were in the hospital because they can still talk to other clients that are patients that were in the hospital. The clients were divided into groups as to how well they were able to stick to the diet, which was 3 meals a day and 1 snack, and their day was under 20 grams. So of the 31 clients, 3 were not able to maintain the diet at all, and they were taken out of the study. 11 of them had excellent adherence to the diet, which means that 6 out of 7 days, they were under their 20 grams. 12 of them had good adherence, which meant that 5 out of the 7 days they were under their 20 grams. And 5 of them had fair adherence, which meant that out of 7 days, 4 of the days they were under the 20 grams. Wellness Warriors, the part of this study that I want to bring to you that I found so amazing was that every single person that completed the study had improvements. Every single person, their mental health improved. And most of them had those improvements show themselves within 3 weeks of beginning the diet. If you have mental health issues, you should be excited by hearing this information. But stay till the end of the video because there's really important information that you need to know. 12 out of the 28 clients actually achieved clinical remission. That means they're better. 18 out of the 28, which includes the 12, had a reduction in their medication. 7 of the 28 clients that came into the study already had metabolic issues. 5 of them had a reduction in their metabolic medication. So not the psychiatric ones, the regular medication. 27 out of the 28 people in the study lost weight. And many of those clients that lost weight had a significant reduction in their metabolic illness. Now, at the very beginning of the study, 27 of the 31 participants actually experienced what would be described as sugar withdrawal. They didn't call that in the study. I'm calling it that because we know what that looks like. That negative scenario of sugar withdrawal resolved itself within the first 2 weeks of them starting the study. What's interesting to me is to look at what happened to the people after they left the study, because I think that's going to be the thing that is the most promising for the future. 13 out of the 28 people that left the study maintained their keto lifestyle when they left the study. And they did that because they said they wanted to either maintain the positive health that they'd achieved, and even some of them wanted to see if they could improve on the positive health they had achieved. 5 of them reported a partial continuation of their keto lifestyle. 6 of them actually discontinued their keto lifestyle altogether. And then there was one person who quit for a little while and went back because the benefits to them was so great. Now, for the people who quit altogether or partially quit, the statement that they made, which I think is so sad, of why they couldn't continue, was either that they didn't know how to cook what they needed to cook to maintain the situation, or they weren't getting the support of their family, which brings me back to what I said at the very beginning of this video. We don't understand the huge negative that people live when they have mental health issues. And then here we have a situation where a solution is found, a solution that doesn't really impact the other people in the house, because you can still eat the way you want to eat, just help this person out, and they don't get the assistance that they need. Now, one of the things that I find frustrating about this is that a lot of the time, people who have mental health issues have been depressed for so long, or bipolar, meaning you're kind of depressed and then manic for so long, that often they haven't learned to do simple things like take care of themselves, like cook their own food and do things for themselves that the rest of us learned because we don't feel bad. And yet here we are, where there's people who are not getting the support they need to stay off medication. This angers me and it frustrates me and it makes me like want to scream, because that shouldn't be the case. There was another reason that they gave as to why they weren't able to do the diet. This research took place in the UK, and apparently in the UK, if you are hospitalized, it's absolutely free of charge. So when they left the hospital, there were financial constraints of them being able to buy quality meat to be able to eat the way they were eating. I would have liked to see the study done slightly differently. I would have loved that while the people were in the hospital, first of all, that the keto diet that they gave them would have been tailored to what they thought they would have been able to eat when they left the hospital. So look at the social economic situation of the people that you're working with and feed them meals that fell in line with everybody's range, rather than what it seems like they used a diet that more than half of them couldn't afford. Part 2 of what I would have loved to see is them educating them on how to do a keto diet, because, well, at least here in North America, I've seen lots of videos on people doing keto diets, $5 or less per day. I can guarantee you that if I tomorrow had no money, well, enough to buy food, but that's it, I could figure out how to eat keto on $5 a week if I needed to. Because if I'm eating an appropriate, healthy keto diet, I can do carnivore half the days if I can't afford to buy the veg, put my money where it counts, buy the meat. And I could do that by eating hot dogs and hamburger meat. And what I want us all to think about is that, is it better for me to eat fast food, junk food, like everybody else in my household, and then take medication? The medication has a cost to it. Now, maybe again, maybe in the UK they don't pay for their medication, and maybe that's why this scenario happened. But I want to point out that I think the flaw in this research is that they didn't think about the outcome for the clients that they were trying, for the patients that they were trying to help. They didn't think about what will they do when faced with real purchasing decisions that they have to make. How do we help them to see that this is now your medication? Because if it's your medication and it's prescribed and you take it as prescribed, look at how you feel. The very important thing I wanted to tell you, and then I've turned around and forgot, to treat mental health with a keto diet, it is extremely important that you be followed by a doctor that can monitor your medication. The keto diet becomes your new medication. And so therefore, if I'm doing a keto diet and I'm still taking my medication, I'm double medicating myself. It is so important for you not to do this alone. Get assistance. The other thing I want all of us thinking about is if we remember, let food be thy medicine. If we remember that everything we put in our mouth determines how we feel, do we start to look at what happened here in a different way? Wellness warrior, this isn't surprising to me. What we eat determines how we feel. If you want to feel good, you need to eat a healthy diet. If you want your mental health to be good, you need to eat a healthy diet. We need to stop eating the garbage we're eating and put our money that we would put towards cookies, chips, ice cream, towards beef, pork, chicken, fish, put it in the right places. Please do not wait until your health is failing and you're being offered medication before you finally decide to do what's better for your health. Eat better now. You deserve it, and I know you can do it if you prioritize health over taste. This video is going to help you to switch to a keto lifestyle. Click on the link. I'm going to meet you over there.